Coach Schock and Coach Stokes that are here with us today after their win over Goddard. Coach, if you want to, we'll give you on that mic, and Coach, you can take that one. It's right there, and we'll get her going here as we discussed last night's win, and glad everybody got back safe last night as well. The weather was a little sketchy on the way back from Goddard last night, so I know the bus drivers always take care of you guys well. So
yes, they did. They did a great job getting us home, and the road was wet, but it wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that's a good thing for sure. Boy, nice win for you guys last night. You know, you got off to a little bit of a sluggish start. It felt like turnovers were a bit of an issue, and then second quarter, team just kind of exploded. Wellington in particular there. Yeah,
the first quarter wasn't real good. You know, we took our first time out. I don't know exactly what time left in the first quarter, and we had given up, I want to say, 6 offensive rebounds. It wasn't a real good way to start, and they got a well-deserved awakening in the timeout, and you know, they answered the call for sure.
Yeah, they played very, very well last night. Wellington 26 last night. It was his birthday yesterday as well. Not too bad for him. You know, you can't help but be impressed with what he's done most of the season. And there are things. I mean, the one play I thought was most impressive was the layup that he had with his back to the basket, kind of twisted his body and put up with his left hand.
Yeah,
he does impressive things.
Definitely. I mean, you go back to that, you know, the old saying about the size of the dog in the fight, or how much fight's in the dog, you know. And Wellington, you know, he's undersized a lot of nights, but I mean, he'll go bang and battle and go to war with any of them. And you know, it was a good performance, you know. And going in, you know, I made this statement to the team. I said, hey, this is one of the best guards in the state, and Lee Anthony. And I mean, by the end of the night, man, Wellington he kind of stole the show and took it away from him, and you know, he had a great night.
Yeah, you have a couple of scrappers. I think Wellington and Markel's one of those guys that's undersized, and he's in there pulling down rebounds a lot of the time. I mean, I don't know if I've seen a guard over the years at Alamo that's good at getting in there on the glass and offensive boards as Markel is.
Yeah, you're exactly right. Markel's one of our guys. You know, he doesn't do a lot of the flashy things that get a lot of attention, and you know, we call him a glue guy, you know, that kind of holds everything together. You know, a lot of times, I mean, he's given the ball up. I mean, he's got the best assist to turnover ratio on the team. I mean, he's approaching 3 assists for every turnover that he has, and most nights he's, you know, defending his heart out. He goes in there, he rebounds, and you know, he's got a great knack for the game. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised to see him on the sideline coaching and making a career out of it.
Speaking of flashy things, Coach Stokes' son had one of the more impressive dunks I've seen from a high school player. I'm sure you've seen that out of him, and he can do that kind of thing regularly. Were you kind of taken back and impressed by that throwdown he had last night?
Well, actually, you know, I think Rock's starting to hit his stride a little bit.
Yeah.
As a dad, you know, I don't want to put him under a lot of pressure because it's tough when you have to play for your dad and meet his expectations along with your own. Having said that, I'm just glad to see him keep working hard on the defensive end. And offensively, I think his best bet is to just let the game come to him, kind of like it's starting to do. So I think the best is still ahead. So
I think we forget he's just a sophomore sometimes too.
Exactly.
Because I mean, he has such incredible size, and I mean, Coach Schock, I mean, this is your first year of coaching him, and you actually sent me the video of the dunk from the Roswell broadcast last night, and I told you, I said I really didn't feel like the video did it justice from what I saw live.
No, the video doesn't do it justice. That was Chino. He took that video for us. That was actually our video.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And I mean, that's, you know, from top. That's from upstairs, and I mean, it doesn't do it justice. I mean, down at the court, I mean, he was close to having an elbow above the rim, and he dunked on a guy that averaging 15 rebounds a game, 5 block shots a game, and I mean, he did it with authority. And Goddard's coach, he's a good friend. I've coached against him for a lot of years. He actually met me at half court, gave me a high five in the middle of the game, and he said, wow. And he said that was one of the most impressive dunks I've ever seen. And he said, I just wanted to give you a high five. And you know, and I was telling Coach Stokes, I said, that's a pretty big deal. Even their crowd cheered. I mean, it was, as a basketball fan, it really didn't matter really whose team you were on. Everybody in the gym had admiration for that play.
Yeah, it was impressive. He's an incredible talent, and I just continue to say he's still got 2 more years of high school left, and and it's one of those things. Along with Wellington, you see it with Rock as well. Is the working in the off season, the things that he does. He's got that good basketball IQ, but yeah, he really is coming into his own. He seems to be hitting the stride. I think there's a couple other players on the team that are doing that. Guys like Shamar and a few others that seem to be doing that as well. Right.
Right. I agree. I think all in all, I think our chemistry is really just starting to settle in. I made a comment a couple of shows ago about that St. Pius loss. And it's still kind of reflective in my mind that sometimes a loss can really set you on your way. And I think now these guys have learned what it feels like to lose, and they've had a real taste of what it feels like to win. And I think they like winning better.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's hard to teach that lesson without saying, this is the difference.
Yeah, you can look at the game and say, you did this, this, and this, compared to those games earlier in the season where you didn't execute that way.
My point being that when we call that timeout, it's like, look, take your breath. Remember what we're here for. We're here to win. Yeah. Let's go make it happen. Yeah. And that's pretty much what they did.
Well, and I mean, talking on Shamar real quick, I mean, you really didn't have D for much of the game on Saturday, and he kind of played D's role, which he can do.
Sure.
And he had a great game. He almost had 20 points against Valencia. And
Shamar had 18. Yeah, he did a good job. Working in the low block area. And I talked to the guys yesterday. I think we've had 7. We might have had 8 different leading scorers. Throughout the year, and I sit and try to play devil's advocate as to, okay, how would they prepare for us? How would they defend us? Who do they key on? And that's what we're trying to tell the guys. Okay, if they're keyed in on you tonight, you may be more of a passer, you may be more of a facilitator, getting other guys involved. It depends on what film an opposing coach watched. Maybe they watched Bishop, hit 4 or 5 threes, and then they may not give Bishop a shot. Well, it's going to open it up for somebody else. I mean, if they're going to key on Wellington, or if they're going to key on Rock or Shamar or Amore, we didn't have Amore. Amore's been, starting for us most of the year, and he didn't play last night. And, our depth is really, it's pretty incredible what we have depth-wise. And, we're just trying, like Coach said, trying to build chemistry, trust, and, playing without the ball, giving up a decent shot for an even better shot, taking pride in getting a teammate a shot. And, I thought it was really a cool thing to watch, the viral videos of Wellington hitting the shot in the Los Lunas game, Mm-hmm. All the reactions, there was no, people aren't sitting there going, I wonder how many points I had, this or that. There was only one stat, and it was 58-56, and it was a scoreboard, and that's what I was telling the guys, that scoreboard, that's our first and most important stat, that we're looking at the end of the night. And it was cool to see all their attitudes and everybody cheering for each other. And now they're kind of seeing, as the team wins, it may be different guys, different nights, and it's actually even more fun whenever you actually give up even a little bit of your own personal ambitions, or maybe exactly what you're looking for stat-wise. But whenever we play together and we play deep, we can be a good basketball team.
Well, and it's something I was talking about last night a little bit, is that, it's almost hard to get enough guys enough playing time, in all honesty. I mean, there's a lot of different guys that could be playing, 20-plus minutes a game, but, you're able to work everybody else in there. It's got to be a nice problem to have, I would feel.
It's a good problem to have, but, honestly, we could play with 2 basketballs. We got that much talent. And, I've coached under-talented teams. Obviously, this is probably one of the most talented, deepest teams I've ever coached, and it's actually tougher to manage and coach more talent than it is to coach, a smaller amount of talent. It's tougher to keep people happy and to buy in, and, I really feel like we're headed in the right direction in that department.
And Coach, you would agree that the guys all seem to have bought in. You got so many talented guys that could play the entire game, and they seem to be okay with the way things are going.
Right. Well, I think we're literally evolving. Yeah. like you're watching evolution kind of run its course. And evolution is a scary thing because you can't stop it.
Yeah.
But if you can harness it and point it in the right direction, it's a scary opponent. Yeah. And that's kind of how I see us right now. I mean, I see us evolving, but I wouldn't want to face us.
Yeah. I kind of get the feeling you get that reaction from a lot of opposing coaches, after the end of games, and they go, they probably won't tell you, but I'm sure some of them at least kind of hint like, wow, you guys are impressive.
Sure. Wellington came over after half, and Lee Anthony Harris came over to him, and he goes, man. And he was complimenting our defensive effort, and he said, this is by far the toughest I've gone against, and that was that's a compliment from an opponent, and he's a classy player, and their coach, I think a lot about Anthony Maestas. He does a great job, and but that was a good compliment to our team and our program right now.
All right, got a real tough one on Friday against Artesia, and we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
Hopefully the weather holds up and we can get out there on Friday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with the weather, and hopefully we can get over there. But again, they're probably one of the more talented, deeper teams. Honestly, they probably match our athleticism better than anybody in this state.